Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for checking out my channel, subscribing to my videos and learning about my life and learning about my story. One thing I want to talk about in this video is how do I actually communicate with my birth parents? Now it's a question that a lot of people ask me, how do I keep in touch or how much do I keep in touch? And there's a lot of different things and a lot of different ways that I do to keep in touch or communicate with my birth parents. One is using a translation. I have a friend over in Russia which helps also with translations. And of course, I have to practice and learn the language. So I'll tell you what I'm doing, I'll tell you some of my tips and tricks and things like that, and just how I keep my communication going. Now, keeping in touch with your birth parents. So is it important to keep in touch with your birth parents? I believe it is. For me personally, keeping that contact is very important and making sure that you keep the contact going. Now this is just me speaking from my own personal story, my personal experience. It is different for everybody else, anybody else around the world. And this story covers a lot for adopted people who are born from different countries that speak different languages. And so when I got in touch with my birth parents for the first time, this is over 5 years ago now, I knew that I had to keep that contact going. And I knew that the language was different and it was something that I had to overcome and something I had to accept. And it was nothing that, it wasn't a bad thing, wasn't a negative thing, never like that. But when you get in touch with your birth parents who speak a different language, you gotta think in your mind, right, I wanna keep in touch with these people, how can I do that? So when I got in touch with my birth parents for the first time, this is over 5 years ago now, I knew that the language barrier might be a little bit difficult, or a little bit tricky to understand because we don't speak the same language and we wanna keep in touch and ask each other questions. So what do I do or how do I do it? So I have a friend in Russia which helps out a lot with translations. She's amazing, she's helped so much. Thank you so much for your help. You know who you are. And she's just been very helpful with helping us keep in touch. And so also my personal self, I've been trying to learn the language for a while, and I go to a language group every Thursday. I go to a language Russian group where we all speak together in Russian. We have to speak in Russian. It is not easy, especially with my birth parents. I ask a lot of questions and it's very fast. So I can't exactly sit down and talk to them right away, but I can understand and read a little bit of Russian. And now I can actually pick up things that my birth father is sending me without having to translate. But if you don't know any of that language, of course you need a translation. And there's a lot of different options. Over in Russia, actually, believe it or not, Google Translate was very helpful. And they also have one over there called Yandex Translate. And it's very helpful for keeping in touch with each other. It's not perfect, it's not 100%, but you can ask basic questions and you can have very simple sentences that you can put onto the app. And so I used that a lot when I was trying to keep in touch or ask questions with my birth parents. And I would get their message sent through to me and I would copy it, paste it, and I would translate it. Now I got used to that habit for the last 5 years, so it is different for everybody else. But that is one way that I keep in touch with basic messages to my birth parents, and it is very easy, and a lot of the time it's not 100% right, but it is very easy to translate and send a simple message. You can also use Skype and you can use a translation system built in. Now this is great because you can actually translate your phone calls, video calls, and text messages as well, instantly using the Skype system. So you can go to your contact on Skype and you can go start translator. So it will create 3 participants into the conversation. One of these is a robot that will translate your messages. Even when you're talking into a call, it will translate and it will speak into that language for them. Now, there's a lot of languages that are not supported in this app, but it's very useful in Skype that you can use this and you can actually sit down and have a telephone call with somebody. Very basic though, very basic. I'm not asking you to go into big business calls or anything like that, or really long scripts or novels and read that out. It's not probably gonna do that perfectly for you, but it is very useful to have a basic conversation with somebody using Skype Translator. And so this is ways you can do it if you don't have a translator or it's very hard to get that resource. And when you do have a translator, you can actually sit down with them, or they can be on another part of the world and they can actually go into a group call into Skype. And that's when you can do a 3-way call and you can translate as well. So that is very helpful as well. And I've done that many times and it's very, very useful. And so that is how I keep in touch with my birth parents. And of course we use social media, we use WhatsApp, we use all those sort of things to keep in touch with each other, and phone calls. It's getting a lot easier now in this modern day and age. 5 years ago it was a little bit different because there weren't that many apps for translation then. It was a little bit different and it's starting to get better and better now. So it's been pretty awesome over the last 5 years of just how it's progressing. But with me saying that, I'm also practicing and learning the language at the same time with another app, and that is called Duolingo. Now, this video is not sponsored or anything. No. I don't think I've ever had a sponsor in a video before, sadly. But Duolingo has been very helpful for me to actually practice and learn a bit of the Russian language and get basic levels, basic steps, learn basic sentences. And so I got to thank Duolingo for that. Shout out to Duolingo, thank you very much. So that is how I keep in touch with my birth parents, and that is how I'm practicing and learning at the same time. So I thought that you as an adopted person around the world would be quite interested to learn or figure out how I actually keep in touch. So I think it's pretty interesting for me personally, and it's only going to get more and more and better and better. Yeah, that's how I do it, and that's how I keep in touch. So I thought you would like that video really just to understand, you know, how does he send messages? How does he phone call if he doesn't understand the language? And that is how I really do it. So I thought I'll give you guys an update on that, and I thank you guys very much for watching another video, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers, which is pretty awesome. I'm getting there closely, so I want to try and get to that milestone. I'm not a big YouTuber, but I'm very happy to just share my stories. No matter, I'm not aiming for the big crazy YouTube world or anything like that. I'm just trying to help people out as much as I can. So thank you very much. And my orphanage project is doing very well, and I've got an update for that sometime very soon, which I'll share with you all. We're still working on that. We've collected a lot of gifts and supplies to send over to my orphanage. You can check out the information below in the description about what I'm doing, and I'll hopefully give you guys an update, a very exciting update. Something really cool will be happening very soon. I'll let you guys know sometime very soon. And thank you very much for watching, and you can subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe. Thank you very much. Until next time, paka paka, do swidania, goodbye.